This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
And welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Mazzarella, Mayor for the city. Hold on, I got to turn myself down here. I'm trying to stream over Facebook. Anyway, good afternoon. A beautiful, beautiful Thursday afternoon. We're live today, 978-534-1626. Yes, what a beautiful day. We only got a couple. Well, they're all going to be nice. It's just we got, 3 good days of rain, much needed. And now today, 70s, a little cooler at night, but today and tomorrow. And then on Saturday, it's going to be like the perfect day for apple picking and the walk from the Eagles. Michael's 5K, which will kick off at 10 o'clock in the morning. And so, yes, and then all of the weather from here on in looks good. It's real fall weather, though, so it's going to be cool at night, warm during the day. And speaking of cool at night and warm in the day, let's go right over to Art, because everyone loves to hear from Art from the Art Report.
Good afternoon, sir.
Isn't it, though?
It is. It's beautiful. And, a couple things quickly before I forget.
Yes.
Good luck to LHS tonight. They're going to Peabody to play Peabody in football, and both teams are 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
And both teams have been putting a lot of points on the board. It should be very, very interesting.
Yes.
But our kids are going to come home with the W.
And
now while we're talking about Leominster High and children and kids and young adults, hats off to the crowd, because we were driving by when I saw it. There had to be, I'm guessing, 35 people cleaning up the house on Main Street in North Leominster, helping out the gentleman that lives in it. I thought that was wonderful. They were cleaning up all the brush in the yard. They were all smiling, having a good time on a Saturday. And I think that's wonderful that they took the time out of their day to help somebody out like that.
I agree, 100%. That's what it takes, right? Be a good neighbor. Be a good neighbor.
I don't think a day goes by when I'm at the market, if it's the regular market day, which means I sit in the car for an hour. I see somebody needing a cart or they need a hand lifting, I get out of my car and I go help them. And it makes you feel good. You don't have to do it, but you should do it. Things like that, it just doesn't make sense to me that people, well, especially when they leave a cart, instead of moving it to the corral where they keep them, they leave it in the handicap area. Well, how do they expect someone that's handicapped? They got to get out of their car and move it and tie up a lane of traffic. So I go move it.
Good man.
Well, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
How's the paving coming along?
That generated my thought process. We got winter coming, snow coming. And last year I only had 2 little reflector things to show the plow where my curbing is. And now that everything is going to be new, I went out, and what I did was I dismantled an old outside table umbrella that had wooden slats for the umbrella. They're about 7 foot long, and there were 6 of them. So I was getting rid of it because it was ripped, and we got a new one. I took the slats out. They're about 1 inch square, and they even have a hinged leg on them, so that if I were to pound them in the ground, which is about 1 foot of area that would go in the ground, that extra hinge on it will stabilize it, and I'm using them for the plow. I painted them red. Now all I got to do is go out and put them out another couple of weeks for the snow time, and I got all brand new stuff to go with the new road.
Look at you.
Well,
Styling.
Why throw it away, right? As soon as I saw them, I said, "This is perfect for snow." And they're about 3.5, 4 feet tall, so they should do okay with the height department. And that's about it. I was taken by those kids helping out.
Good.
And they were making, usually nobody was pouting. They were all laughing, having a good time, and that was a lot of work. They filled up a truck that was parked there to get rid of the debris.
Yeah, it was overgrown. Yep.
That
Good
was
job.
not easy. And one more shout out. Number 83, Kansas City Chiefs, Noah Gray.
Wow, what a play, huh?
Oh, that was beautiful.
That was
They
beautiful.
put him in he was over by the quarterback, moved to the left he was the quarterback, moved to the left as a guard. Then he moved back to quarterback, took the snap, and quarterback sneaked for a 6-pointer. Professional
Unbelievable.
football, Leominster High. That's right. That's right.
I've got to show you my. I ordered last year. As soon as he got drafted, I ordered the official NFL shirt from, and they're not cheap, but they're good quality. I can tell you. At first, I was like, "How much?" And then I saw it, and once it got delivered, I said, "Wow, what a nice shirt." So,
And I see he signed a $1 million contract this year.
good for him.
So that's right. Make it while you can. I think it's wonderful. Well represented. I followed him on LA TV football his whole senior career at Leominster High.
Yep.
I swear. I said to myself, this guy's got something special. I mean, whatever they put him out there to do, he did it.
Yep.
And he was a good player. Then he went on to college.
Did a great
Did
job.
well in college, and now he's a professional football player. Other Leominster, Milt Moran.
That's it.
He was up there too.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Leominster pride, Leominster proud.
That's it.
Get any better.
Legendary Leominster.
Get ready, folks. I think it's going to be a mediocre winter. I open my big mouth. Watch us get another blizzard of 78.
I'll have to check in with Tom Connery on that one.
Yeah, but I think we're good to go.
All right. We'll see.
Take care.
All right. Thanks for calling. That was Art from the Art Report, filling us in on everything that's occurred in the last week or so. But thanks for watching. And if you've been watching our morning briefings, we're at, 600 and something, 647 morning briefings. Obviously, you got to have Facebook to get that. And but every morning, 9 o'clock, we miss a few here and there if we have conflicts. But we're right here this afternoon. It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon, the 6th of October, 978-534-1626. We have a guest, and we're going to be talking about a local business, an entrepreneur, something very exciting. And we'll be right back. That was our tractor parade last Saturday. Had a little rain, not much. I was a little bit worried. I thought, kids going to come out. Are they too sheltered these days? It's too cold, it's too hot, it's too this. And, every kid's got, for the most part, has 100 coats and gloves. And I thought, you know what, it's a good day. Dress them up, bring them out. They'll grow up hardy. They'll grow up hardy New Englanders. And they did. Believe me, they did. And we were there for, I don't know, maybe a couple hours. And kids climbed and got in the tractors and tooted the horns. And, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you. Everybody brought their tractors out. Thank you, everybody else that came out. We also had farmers market going on at the same time. And then in the afternoon, towards the end, the rain stopped. And then the day cleared up. And it was actually a very nice afternoon on Saturday. Anyway, 978-534-1626. And Aaron Birt is with me. And he's an owner of a business in town. It's called Solvus Global. And so we're going to break this down today because this is really interesting. When you did the opening and you took me through it.
We had fun together.
You're a PhD.
I have one, yeah.
And so I have to help to interpret this whole thing here to make it understandable.
Between the two of us, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, well, because I was trying to explain to somebody today what thermoplastic elastomers are.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, I don't understand. I said, well, it's kind of like, the best way I can describe it is you're rubberizing plastic.
Yep.
Plastic used to be very rigid.
Yep.
If
Hard.
you bent it,
Yep.
it broke.
Break, yep.
And everyone knows those stories, right?
Yep.
I had it, and then my chainsaw had a plastic housing, and I
Yep.
dropped it, the whole thing broke.
Yep.
But they can, today, the bottom of your soles more
Yep.
than a lot, your boots and a lot of your soles
Exactly.
is thermoplastic. So it's kind of like rubberized,
Yep.
flexible plastic.
Yep.
So once I said that, they're like, oh, yeah, I know what you mean. I said, well, they can make hoses. They don't really make things out of rubber anymore for the most part. It's thermoplastic elastomers.
Exactly.
And there's so many applications to it. So
Yep.
that's why there's not even a PH or a D in
But
anywhere.
you've got it all. You've got it all nailed.
And I'll try to understand. So you guys are located at 272 Nashua Street.
We
so
are.
if you leave town, you head down the connector, you take a left, go under the bridge, and on the right-hand side, there's this little building.
Yep.
And it's got little AstroTurf on it.
Yep.
And
It does
that's how you
indeed.
can tell that's the building. It's
Exactly.
right near the corner of Lawrence and Nashua Streets.
Yep.
And anyway, a beautiful facility. It's
They did a good
immaculate
job
in there.
with it.
And when you walk in, there are a bunch of people all working together and looking over each other's shoulders.
Yep.
And everybody has a PC and software in front of them.
They do. Whether they're software people or not, whether they know how to use it or
look
not,
like it.
there's software in front of them.
Right. But it looks to me like well, first of all, explain what it is that your business does. Because
Yeah.
you do so much, I guess,
We
how do you
are
encapsulate
doing we
that?
are doing a lot of different things. So the way that I usually try to explain it is that we're a bit of a different business.
Right.
So there's only two things that matter to us: problems that we're going to solve and people that we're going to help grow.
So people come to you and they say, I got this really good idea and everything, but I can't seem to make it work.
Yep.
And I don't know how to bring it to market.
Yep.
Right? Is that
Exactly.
is that like
Exactly.
Like
So-
I got this really good idea.
Yeah. So sometimes people are coming to us with these problems that they have. Other times we're looking out at the marketplace and trying to see what the challenges are. But it's always a big problem. It's always something that's stopping a market from growing, or it's stopping some aspect of kind of human life from being successful. So things like manufacturing, things like recycling and sustainability. Things like decarbonization or greenhouse gas emission, global warming, all that kind of stuff. They're different problems, and depending on the day of the week, we try to solve them.
And if you think about how many products or good ideas there are out there are tons of them.
There are
the
so many.
The only problem is they can't get them to market.
That's exactly it.
They can't.
My pitch deck always starts with three things. It says ideas are cheap, execution is everything, and people are all that matters.
Yeah.
Because it's all about the people, and it's all about making it work.
Many years ago, there was a group of gentlemen, right? Mostly business people, but all were pretty savvy at what they did. So they come from different backgrounds. They're pretty savvy at what they did. They were more like Earl Tupper, gadgety kind of people.
Yep.
They were innovators, right, before their time. And they actually came up with an automatic 10-speed bicycle. Or it might have been a 20-speed.
Okay.
As I remember, it was many speeds, and it was automatic.
Yeah.
So their problems were, and of course, I don't think they were, they were kind of dabbling in it, and they had it working and everything. It's very heavy.
Yep.
And how do you get to market? How do you get it to affordable? How do you get this thing to work so people aren't calling you saying, hey, I took it out for the first time and it ain't working, right? So there lies, right? I mean, a lot of times I've noticed people with products have great ideas, but can't get them to the point, that price point, where, well, first of all, get them made for what, because there's a price point for everything, right?
Absolutely.
So you could sell something in the robbery port on the retail end, and somebody will pay $1,000 for something. But for the most part, most people are trying to get it to that commodity part where they're trying. So a lot of what you do isn't the commodity part, but a lot of what you do is kind of the mid-range, figuring out the balance between technology, affordability, right? I mean, so
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. I mean, a lot of, you look at what we're doing specifically in the facility on Nashua Street.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
And there's really, so we've got a few different facilities. So we've got one in Worcester, Mass, and that's all of our R&D. And it's nice because it's close to the university, it's close to WPI.
Right.
And as we kind of developed and scaled some of the technologies that we were working on, we said, we need a place that's going to let us make stuff. We need to make big stuff, and we need to make it fast. And the facility on Nashua Street opened up, and we said, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want. The whole community really came together to help us build out the building, open it up. The landlord's great. Everybody's been great to work with. And so what we're doing in there is taking a lot of the technologies that we've kind of developed in our Worcester facility, and we're scaling them up here. And so there's two big things that are happening in there. One is we're manufacturing powders for 3D printing. So this is where you take and you deposit a material onto a surface, and you, instead of machining from a big block of material, you build up kind of layer by layer to form your part. So your coffee mug on your table there, instead of maybe machining that out of a big hunk of metal, I'm just going to print it in a little spiral fashion, then add a little handle for you. So we make these powders, and these go around the world. These go to people who are using them for repairing boats. They're using them for protecting airplanes. They're using them for all kinds of applications across the globe. We ship worldwide.
So is the powder a coating? Could it be looked at as a coating?
It can be a coating. Yeah. It can be a coating. So you can use it for protective coating. It's actually used to put copper onto frying pans, so you can have a really high thermal gradient in your frying pan. You can heat it up really, really fast. It's used in things like bridges for protecting corrosion on bridges.
Right, I was going to bring that up.
All kinds of stuff.
So can I do my truck in that material?
Okay. So here's the fun. My brother's a truck nut. And for the better part of 5 years, we've been trying to get the price point down so that you could do your truck bed.
Right.
We're not there yet.
No, I mean, think of all the automobiles, used automobiles, people that are like, you know what? I'm hanging on to this thing. I'm buying this. I'm hanging on to this till it dies.
We think we've got the price point down where we'd be right now just above your Rhino liners. So we need to get it a little bit lower, and then we'll bring your truck by and we'll do it for you.
534-1626. Aaron Birt is with me, and talking about a business here that's been open for what? Have you been there a couple of years from start to finish?
It's only been like a year and 2
from
months.
Start to finish, though?
Yeah, it was like June of 20.
Yeah.
Well, no, they started the build out in probably February of 2021.
Okay, so we're closing in on a couple of years.
We're getting close to 2. Yeah.
But it really is. I mean, there's so many things on the people will say, I got this really good idea. And it's always the problem of the technology. So it's about knowing the right people. And from what I saw, on opening day there, when you had like kind of the ribbon cutting, you have a bunch of different people with a bunch of different skills.
We do.
And not everybody has the same skills. So everybody, and I guess is how you reach, that final outcome, which is I didn't just have one, I didn't hire, 7 people with all the same skills.
Right. It's been, that's one of the, go back to, where we started, it's all about people. And so for us, it's all about having a diversity of people that have different thoughts, different backgrounds, different experiences, whatever it takes to make sure that you have kind of all the different angles covered. So when we think about our organization, I've got everybody from software developers to manufacturing engineers. We've got people who have no degrees. We have people who have multiple degrees and PhDs and multiple master's degrees and everything in between, right? And it takes all of those different types of people from all those different backgrounds and walks of life to come together to solve some of the problems that we're looking at. Because you can't just have PhDs, you'll never get anything done. You can't just have technicians, you'll be running in the wrong direction.
But you're starting at the end. You're starting at the end. This is what we want to do.
Exactly.
How do we get this done? And then kicks in the, well, yeah, you did it, but it's going to cost, $1,000 to, put a cup together.
We avoid the coffee mugs. We go for things that are a little bit bigger. So most of the
more
stuff
sophisticated, right?
Most of the stuff that we're making at that facility, like kind of minimum size that we're producing is about a foot by a foot by a foot.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these things they're going on airplanes, they're going on boats. You can think about like boat propellers. You can think about like spars on airplanes. You can think about landing gear. You can think about space applications. Make big stuff out of expensive metal.
But you're starting at the end. You're saying, we want to coat these things, or anything that you're working on is, well, this is what we want to do. Can we get to that point?
Yep, exactly.
There was a company, a plastic company in Leominster, and they own a lot of different operations throughout the world.
Yep.
And they actually set up like a bidding process amongst each different, amongst each of the facilities, and said, well, this is the product we want. Go ahead and let's see who gets.
Fun.
Let's go and see who gets the work. And everybody had to go together. And actually, some of the product initially was made in China.
Yep.
Because so their task was, can we make this product? And even if it's close, it doesn't have to beat the price of China. Can we make it here in the United States? And they went ahead and pulled it off.
Did they?
And
I'm surprised.
Yeah, they pulled it off, but it took a lot of different people.
Oh, I'm sure.
The ability to be able to do that. So
today
it really is. In fact, I think it's interesting today that globally, if you can't, say you couldn't afford a particular person that had a very, very specified, there was no sense bringing them on full time because you only need them for this specific project. I think the technical world is beginning to kind of look like, I need somebody with these particular skills. Are you out there?
Yep.
Kind of like I know a guy, but it's all software based, like kind of a LinkedIn kind of thing where it's like, I need somebody that is a photographer, but it only does screws. They only take pictures of screws, Like we're getting so like technical and specific, but it's open to the world today where somebody has such a special and unique talent on something.
It is.
And skill that they could be in Australia. I mean, they could be anywhere.
Yep. No, we've found that for our team, we try to hire people who have lots of those different skills. We say, we want you to be really good at one thing, but we also want you to be really good at lots of other things too.
Yeah, right.
If you only come to us good at one thing, how are you going to adapt into other areas? But you're right. There's a growing body of people out there for part-time hire or for
single
consulting, short projects. And for us, we usually try to get those people on staff instead because we always have more work to do. There's never enough people. There's always more work. So we try to pull those kind of people in when we can because then we get to take advantage of their broader skill sets and experiences. But I mean, I was on a call last night with people from Australia. We've got people from Germany. We've got people from Japan and Switzerland and Canada, Mexico. I mean, it's an amazing diversity of kind of areas where you pull together manufacturing expertise because you need to make stuff everywhere in the world. That's
I mean, look at life sciences. I mean, look at the range of expertise in that field. It is all over the place. And part of the problem we have is, there's an apprenticeship program right now for bioscience. Well, try to explain to a 10th grader at the high school what bioscience is. So they hear the words, and when we had a forum at the Sheraton, it was not the Sheraton, I think it was the Best Western in Fitchburg, the Great Wolf Lodge, and one of the guest speakers was the head of the Mass Life Sciences, and so it was put on by the chamber. And I asked the question, I'm like, what a boring name, life science. I mean, life is nice, but you scare a lot of people away because the first thing when I talk to a student is, I was horrible in science. I'm like, yeah, but This is a whole different, I mean, there are so many different aspects to it.
So what should we call it? Life gym? Life PE?
Staying Alive, and play the song
Alive.
from the
There you go.
70s, Staying
There you
Alive
go.
by
I
the
like
Bee
that.
Gees.
I like
And
that.
that could be their commercial, playing
Yep,
this
yep,
Staying Alive.
yep.
It's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's helping people live longer,
on.
better quality of life.
Spot on.
And somebody has to write the, somebody has to write the disclaimer at the end saying these are the side effects. 197 side effects you might get if you take this. But the truth of the matter is a lot of money gets pumped in. A lot of money is invested. So they may have 10, 15 projects going on. One's going to hit, make them a lot of money. So people say, well, why is this stuff so expensive? Well, because it took a long time to develop that product.
And there were a lot of failures before they got to it.
A lot of failures.
Yeah.
And it went back to the drawing board. And but when you talk, when trying to, as I said, trying to explain to a student what you do, or life science or bioscience. And right now there's an apprenticeship program where they'll pay somebody for a year to go to school, and then they'll get, more likely you're going to land yourself a job somewhere. But the life science and the technical part of the world is really the growing part of the business. It's what you do and what you're able to do and what your team of partners can do is remarkable. Let's face it, what went on at a lot of these colleges 20 years ago isn't what's going on today. And
that's true.
With DNA and the breakdown and digitalization of just about everything. We were just talking about just here what they're able to do with technology here. It's just phenomenal.
It's amazing.
To
it's
think
amazing
about it. So
you talk about apprentice programs, and we actually think that there's a growing need on the manufacturing side for that same kind of thing.
Right.
So we're starting to chat with some of the local community colleges, some of the workforce development folks to look at exactly that for manufacturing, because there's a huge need for robotics operators, technicians, programmers, folks who are coming out of the community colleges. There's a tremendous opportunity for everybody, but especially for that group, for retraining machinists who maybe are going out of work.
CNC machines.
Exactly.
3D
all of these
printers.
things, they're the same. And so getting that pipeline of people into this advanced manufacturing side of things is a huge challenge, but also opportunity. It's something that we're trying to work with the state and local officials to help make something like that happen.
I talked to a guy last week. That's a decent sized business, and I said, geez, is your son going to take over? His son's really good. He works in the summers, and I've dealt with him in the past. And he said, nah, he wants to do construction. And I said, what do you mean? You got this whole business here. And he says, well, maybe he'll come around. He's still 15, 16, but a sharp kid. The father was away, and the kid was basically on top of things. If you asked him anything, the kid knew. I think, and my theory's always been, and maybe it's trying to apply my technique to is visual, right? Is you got to get people inside the workplace to show them what they do, because they become inquisitive and say, so what are you doing? Well, that's a machine. How do I explain what you do? I've got to show people what you do. And I've got to show them life science. I've got to show them advanced manufacturing. You've got to show people robotics and automation. And you got to
get them excited.
Yeah. And you know what? When they see it, they're like, I think for a lot of people, it's, I want to do that. I saw them do that. That's how I became interested. There's always the person that will take over the parent's business, and they did what the parent did because they saw them do it. It looked like a decent way to make a living or whatever. I don't know. It's always passion and excitement that they're doing. But sometimes when you show people things and they see it for themselves, they're like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Well, construction is one of those things that kids see. And they're like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to run heavy equipment and I want to work construction. Well, it's a visual. And it's sky's the limit at this particular point. And I think for us here, we're a manufacturing community long before most were. And manufacturing wasn't the cleanest operation in the world. It wasn't air conditioned, and it wasn't clean. It was, it was all the so you scared a whole generation of people away from manufacturing. Now we're trying to get kids back, saying, hey, wait a minute, this isn't your grandfather's plastic shop anymore.
That's exactly it. We're going to have you back over to the facility, because we've got some new machines there that are really cool with what we can make. We talked about that spray technology.
Yes.
We can print a part in front of your eyes.
Wow,
it's
that's
amazing.
amazing.
A propeller, a hand.
Wow.
We just printed a
Is it a 3D printer? Or?
It's a type of 3D printer.
So it's a spin-off of a 3D printer.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool. We'll send you some videos of it. It's pretty neat.
There's a company in Leominster called IMA. They're right down on 117 here. And they make the machines that, they don't make the machines that make the pharmaceuticals. They make the machines that bottle. They don't even make the bottle.
Okay.
Well, they may make the machines that, so it may be vertically integrated if the customer comes in and says, but you wouldn't believe, like they're making million plus. So it's just an entire system that puts medicines and liquids in the bottle. Now, those have to be fast and accurate.
Yeah.
Because you mess up one.
Oh, you're in trouble.
They have 100% accuracy, right? But most of the machines, and I speak just for the times that I've taught it, things may change, but I mean, you don't just go down to the Home Depot or to order something online. They make the machines from scratch. So everyone in their production line has a different skill for the most part. But at the end of the day, you see this giant machine, and it's going out the door. It's like, that's a multi-million-dollar machine. And every single person in here had something to do with making that machine, whether it was electrical or, I mean, obviously there were people with multiple skills. But it's just incredible. And to be that competitive.
It takes a lot of different people to make something happen.
And to be that competitive, because in that, we're talking about, that's a world market. So you don't just shop that out and say, how much is your hamburger at, Market Basket versus Hannaford? We're talking, this is global, right? They're putting this out there saying, can you build this machine and for how much can you build it for?
And you're competing with folks who can make things for really low cost.
Right.
That's tough.
It's just incredible. 978-534-1626. And it really is the future. And that's why I say to students, don't get scared off by the name of something, right? Don't get scared. Explore it. Look into it. And really, one of the things I've pushed almost 30 years as mayor is try to get students out into the facilities and let them at least see it. Get the guidance counselors, teachers. When they have these career days, those kind of things, you can set up tables in there. That's fine. But, man, if you could put a busload of kids together, get them into the facility and show them what you do. Like, we do
tours. We do tours. We do internships. I've got a good half dozen internship slots open right now. We've got 30 other slots open. Everything from machinists to manufacturing engineers to finance people. But if you want to send them our way, we'd love to have them. We love to have them.
That's great. So what's the future project? I mean, it sounds like you've worked a lot on this, developing this coding. This coding, because it has a whole lot of applications here for the future. The Rhino kind of thing, which, by the way, they're the #1 Rhino in the world.
I know.
They've built an incredible business, but that's an application for automobiles, and they're doing undercoatings and that kind of thing. And I'm not sure what else they do with it or what the future brings for them. You're kind of in a different area, I mean, so to speak. Here. You're in a completely different area, but it's just funny to see that we have two kind of, not in competition at all, but we have two coating companies in town, and it's look at how many color companies we have in town.
Oh yeah.
And color used to be, if you bought something plastic, you could see that the first and the 55th might not be the same color. Today, it's amazing what they can do. Ultraviolet, retention. So it's amazing. And so just getting that, the 1/1,000,000th is now the same as the first in terms of color.
That's hard.
It's amazing what
really
they do
hard
out there today. And so many things can be made in so many different colors. And I saw something made the other day, and it was a really expensive product. And most of the product was plastic. These bike racks that people pay like $800, $900, over $1,000, 90% of them are made out of plastic.
But those are some really engineered plastic.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's amazing what they've done with
But
those.
it's not the plastic of the past, is what I'm saying.
Oh, it's a totally different generation of
So
material.
WPI was sort of your gig, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get...
That's what brought me up here.
It's a lot of talent going through those schools. And we're fortunate here in Massachusetts to have so many of these think-based universities and...
It is.
And professors, and kind of, the plastic business. U of Lowell has put out a whole lot of engineers.
There's a lot of
and
good
people.
talent coming out of there.
So we're fortunate about all of that.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great ecosystem to be a part of, and there's a lot of support. I think one of the challenges that especially central north central Mass is looking at is how can we continue to retain some of that talent, make sure that they stay here, and I think continuing to drive on manufacturing in this region, I think that's the bread and butter, and I think you can keep doing that, and you can keep this talent here if you can just highlight how exciting manufacturing is now, the kinds of things that we're making in this region, the kinds of opportunities that there are. I mean, everything from things that are going to the moon, things that are going to asteroids, things that are crossing the ocean, things that are going under the ocean.
Compostable, so it breaks down right here in Leominster. They're making all these K-cups and straws and everything else that break down. It's amazing. When I first got elected, one of the first things I did is I went to a plastic show that the Chamber of Commerce had put on. So I was walking around with Dave McKean, that used to be the director there. And at the time, it was beginning to move towards manufacturers going to China. Furniture's going to North Carolina. Eventually that went to China. Everything went there. So everyone was just kind of writing it off. And the first show I went to was a company that had engineered some preliminary robotics. So this machine would go zzz, zzz, around and would go down and grab something. And this is kind of the beginning of what, at least my exposure to it was. And we would go, and nothing against any governor, because we'd be down to State House saying, hey, listen, manufacturing's not gone. This is just the beginning. It's now transitioning into technology. This is by no stretch of the imagination. We even asked that they create like a czar. The governor at the time was like, you need to create this czar. And we took that whole area at the State House on the first level. And we wanted to make a statement, so we asked if we could have that space to show some of the things that are made here in Leominster. And we filled the whole place up.
That's awesome.
And every senator, we got more response. And we're like, yeah, you see all this stuff? It's all made right here.
That's awesome.
We're not losing this industry, but I think we spent a whole lot of, I think it just became a given that we're writing off this business and we're going to spend our time on computer. I think it was IT at the time. Like everybody's going to have a job at digital, or everybody's going to have a job at Raytheon. And the reality is, and nobody had it in their economic development brochures, nothing. Now, everywhere you go, it's advanced manufacturing and high tech and robots and just, you see these fancy facilities now. So now it's back in fashion. So we never gave up on it. As a community, as an area, we never gave up on it. We stayed with it, and I'm glad we did, because it provides a lot of opportunities for the student who maybe doesn't get into WPI or has certain skills that you can maximize, and then later on they go to a community college or they go to WPI because they found something
or they join us and they start a company with us and they're CEO.
Exactly.
We've got a couple of those too.
So you've done well. You've had a number of articles written about the business. It ranks 293 on Inc.'s 5,000 list. On Inc. magazine.
We were pretty excited about that one.
Inc. magazine, the publishers from the same little village in Montefalcione, Italy, as my father. Imagine that.
Seriously?
It's just a little village. It's about the size of this room and the next room over. And when he bought Inc. magazine, the editor said, I don't know, this new guy bought it. We haven't met him yet. He's out trying to, trace his family history. And the following edition, he says, hey, I guess he's doing okay. He found out where his father was from, and he's from a little obscure town called Montefalcione, Italy.
I did not know that.
No, I mean, isn't that interesting?
That's crazy.
But that's pretty big. People may say 293. Yeah, out of all the companies.
Yeah.
And they rated you on that.
Yeah.
And that's as a startup company.
Yeah, we were really excited. That's they're really, they spend a lot of time reading through the numbers and the finances of all the companies that submit to that. And so, yeah, we were fortunate enough to have a team that was able to pull it together over the last 3 years, dealing with the pandemic and everything else, growing as a startup, finding new facilities, all of that kind of stuff. We managed to make it work.
And the Worcester Business Journal had like a love fest with you.
You know,
Article after
mutual. It's mutual.
Article after article. I'm like, what the heck? Does his father own the place?
They put out great work, and actually no, they're great people, and we love working with them. And they've been really supportive of the kinds of things that we're trying to drive in the community. I think it goes back to what you talked about. It's all manufacturing. It's all people, and it's an exciting time to be in that field, in that industry. And we try to do things a little bit differently, right? We're not focused on any one product. We're focused on solving broad problems. And so when you can do that, and you can try to make them relatable to people, and you can get people excited, and you can help people grow, it's fun.
Just think, Earl Tupper from Tupperware made basically household plastic, which was pretty much a commodity at the time.
Yep.
And, a lot of the stuff was throwaway at them, low cost. He took a product that was actually a better quality, superior, charged more money for it. Its life expectancy was better. And he did that like 60 years ago or more. I mean, and he was a person like yourself, just very excited about what he was doing.
Yep.
He was out there. He was. And people always say there's a pioneer plastic city, but I think it's more the innovation. Is there a culture of people here who were inventors?
Yep.
I don't know how nobody ever really did any research into it, but they really were.
Yeah.
Like creative people. Like I saw a wire machine once, and it's
They're pretty
twist wire to make these cables.
Yep.
And they were using these machines that were, I don't even know how old they were.
Yep.
But because of the brain power they had here in this area, these guys had these machines doing stuff that brand new machines couldn't do. And they had them moving at a speed that was just mind-boggling.
Yep.
Like, how do you people do this? Now, the wire and cable business, a lot of it is farmed out to other places now. It became unaffordable to do it.
Yep.
But I was amazed at how creative and it's kind of like the only way you can explain it is, how you're in high school and you have these, your peers in school that love to tear apart an engine and they get excited. Like they leave school and they get out and start pulling carburetors apart.
Those are my favorite people to hire.
Exactly. That's
Absolutely.
what I'm saying. Like,
Absolutely.
And all weekend, they stay with it. At night, weekends, they don't go to sleep. They're just like, we're going to put the engine back together.
Yep.
They take it off. They had nothing to film it. They just they knew where the parts went, where the screws went.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, they all stand around it. They turn the key. They fill it up with oil and hydraulic.
Black
and they turn
smoke
the key.
goes everywhere.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, let's take it apart again. We must have left something out.
Yeah.
And they put it all together again.
Yeah.
And they're happy. They're like so excited.
Yep.
And how do you apply that to, the world? And that's what I say, is try to find, a young person's passion. Find out what excites them. Gets them all pumped up, and they can't sleep at night, and they got fire in their belly, and they're up at 4 and 5 and 6 o'clock ready to go.
Yep.
What is that thing? That's the key. Like, obviously, you get excited about what you do.
I do. If I didn't, I'd be in trouble.
Well, you'd have to find something you're passionate about.
That's exactly it.
Right.
That's exactly it. And this is it for us. It's being able to help people reach their kind of greatest ambitions. It's being able to make sure that the work that we're doing is meaningful, that it's impacting people's lives. And when you're doing that in combination, it's always fun. It's always fun. And whether you're dealing with customers or HR problems or your whatever other challenges you have as a small business at any point in time, you always kind of keep that pointed on your North Star, and you say, all right, why am I here? Well, I'm here to help people. I'm here to make people's lives better. And if I
all right,
can
you
do
said
that,
fun.
Then you're having
So
fun.
what do you do to have fun?
What do I do to have fun? So I love.
You don't tear apart engines, do you?
I don't.
I always like those guys. They're always like, when you're young, you're like, hey, can you help me fix my, carburetor?
Of
course I can. I don't know how to put a battery in my car. Can you help me out?
Yeah. So actually, growing up, I did a lot of construction projects. So it was all house flipping, basement renovating.
Really? Yeah, huh?
Yeah. So my least favorite job was roofing.
That's not fun.
My favorite.
That'll teach you to study.
That will teach you to do anything that will
drywall.
keep you away from that.
Yeah.
So those were actually my 2 least favorite jobs, were drywall and roofing.
I drywalled a house with my business partner one year. We built a house, and I'm like, Dave, there is not enough money You could pay me. Ever do this again? Let's not do. Let's find somebody.
My dad used to pay me. He would pay me by the board to bring it in. He'd say, "I'll give you $1 per sheet. It's 50 cents less than the professionals make. You're not a professional, so $1 a sheet sounds good." I said, "Okay." So we'd haul them 2 at a time, and off we'd go.
Yeah, if you were good, man, you could do it. But the old days before they had the lifts.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd pick those roofing shingles and throw a bundle or two on their shoulders and then climb a 40-foot ladder.
That's what we were stuck doing.
That's respect. I have respect.
So it was the coolest thing, because growing up, so central Pennsylvania is where I grew up.
Really? What part?
So it's a little town called Dillsburg. That's about 15 minutes south of Harrisburg. So right down south central.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yep. So our claim is we're the first traffic light when you get up from DC when you're headed up Route 15.
Is it really, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of a problem. I did a high school project on how to re-engineer the traffic lights so you'd have less accidents there.
And what's the primary industry there? Same as Harrisburg.
So Dillsburg is like a weird suburb town. There's a lot of agriculture, and oddly enough, this is the craziest thing. There's a ton of powder handling and grain handling equipment that's manufactured in Dillsburg.
All right, see?
We moved up here.
Yeah.
We needed a piece of powder handling equipment.
And you can make it.
And it turns out we had to call back home to Dillsburg, Pennsylvania for somebody to make it for us. And sure enough, they did, yeah.
Did you know them?
I didn't. I didn't. It was the craziest thing. They were 3 minutes down the street from where I grew up. And here I am 10 years later, and we're calling back home for somebody to make it. It was cool. It was really cool. I went past and drove past their facility. It's a neat little place. Never knew it existed, but it had been there since before I was a kid. Wow. Same kind of thing.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it was
So
neat.
what do you do for fun?
So for fun, love to go hiking. I mean, this time of year around everything New England, this is perfect. We bought a canoe the other day. We actually I have 2 giant Akitas dogs. I take them out
take them
canoeing.
with you?
Yeah, it's really great until
they take you with them.
They see a loon or they see a duck, and then they're exactly. So we have fun. Love to travel. So I've been all around the world, all around New England. My wife and I, we love food. So all kinds of food.
Are you one of these guys that's working all the time? You can't help yourself, but somehow or another you apply everything you're doing to work somehow?
That tends to happen. I tend to get in trouble for it.
I figured.
Yeah. So food. There's a great Korean restaurant in town. Have you been to Arisu?
Yes.
I love it. They have so my wife is originally from southern China, so we're always looking for the best any kind of food that we can find.
So she pre-qualifies.
Well, any kind of Indian
She's
food,
an influencer.
any kind of but we have amazing food.
Yeah.
We just found out there's a place that you can order really, really fresh fish. They'll overnight it to you. So we're going to try.
It's an overnight anything today.
I know. It's like Amazon took over, but for the whole world. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing what they can do on a plane today.
Exactly.
There was somebody from the Wall Street Journal that ordered a bunch of things from Amazon. He said it came in 5 different trucks.
Yep.
5 different boxes. He said none of it came together.
Yeah.
He said there were a little thing of blueberries packed in ice. He goes, "How do they do that? I'm a Prime member." He said it had to have cost them money.
Oh, I know. And then you start looking at the negative impact of that, which is how many extra boxes, how much extra
the
fuel,
packing,
and then the poor person that's in the truck. So you needed 5 people to drive that around instead of the one guy. Yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation
that part's
we can have.
Maybe not quite as good, but I do appreciate one-day delivery.
Well, I'll have to get the list of I'll have to have your wife on to talk about her dining experiences in the.
There's between Worcester and Leominster.
She knows it all.
There's a ton of stuff. I mean, it's amazing what all the different foods that are in this area.
She might have more power than you as an influencer.
That's probably
you got power.
True.
She's got power. She could be an influencer.
That is 100% true.
I want to hear what she has to say. All right,
I'll send you an intro.
Yes, I want to definitely do that. All right, we're going to take a short break, and just hang in there. You don't mind hanging in there, right?
I'm
We got
happy
10
to
minutes
hang.
left. I do all those household things. Look at me. I still got battery there, Bradley. I still have battery.
Proud of you, Dean.
Are you? Usually, I can't keep I cannot, no matter what
Sounds
I
like you
own.
need a new phone.
I'm always on it. I use it so much.
You're like one of those kids.
I feel like the old days when they're like, buy, sell, buy, right? What it is after 30 years, everybody has your cell number because it's just like, if they have to call the office, then they have to talk. Then that ties them up like, well, I have to talk to him. And then, right, just text me or call me. It's the easiest way, right? And it saves everybody a lot of time. It's just after a while, everybody's got it. So, you're on it all the time. I'm not complaining, believe me.
No,
I like you. I'm like you. I like to solve problems. If I can solve somebody's problem,
otherwise,
I'm a
what are you
happy
doing?
guy. Look at that. Speaking of solving problems, Leominster Public Library, not only do they have October, the whole calendar for October, they've got November.
That's some
Talk
planning
about
ahead.
planners.
I'm
right?
impressed.
I'm really impressed. In fact, today, they already had Read to Your Bunny story time. And then Saturday is Mad Science presents movie effects at 3 o'clock. So there's something going on all the time. All right, let's get to it. We got slides to show here. There you go. That's me. We'll go to the next slide. Just to show you our technology here, Aaron. I don't want you to think we're low tech here. I even got a switch. There's our latest numbers as of the end of the month. We haven't. These are 7-day numbers, so 125,000 people. I rough it off. 9,000 tested positive. 41 deaths. One is too many. 2,100 here in Worcester County. If you look at the very bottom, the municipalities, they give a 2-week count. We're at 122, so we're about 60-something, 61 per week. And if you look at hospitalization, it's up. It's up to 694. It was down around 500 at its lowest. Did you know that cream of wheat was actually invented by Nabisco Foods in 1893?
I did not.
But I don't know. Can you really eat cream of wheat without putting like something on it, like syrup or I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like wallpaper paste. 1893, Nabisco Foods invented cream of wheat. 1926, Babe Ruth became the first player to hit 3 home runs in a World Series game. And then in 1927, The Jazz Singer. That's how far that goes back.
Wow.
Directed by Alan Crossman, starring Al Jolson and Mary McAvoy, released the first film with a soundtrack. Now everything's got a soundtrack to it. And all movies are today is a rewrite of another movie, I think.
It's kind of disappointing.
Nobody has any new ideas. In 1961, JFK advised Americans to build a fallout shelter. Is this when he was like battling with Castro or something? I forget what was going on. I don't remember that. In 65, the Supremes released, I can't believe this song is that old. Wow. I Hear a Symphony. I Hear a Symphony. Yeah. 1979, Pope John Paul was the first pope to visit the White House. And he met with Jimmy Carter. He was a good guy, Jimmy Carter.
What did we do wrong that that's the first pope that visited the White House?
I don't understand, but he was a good guy. Jimmy Carter was a good guy. I mean, he's still alive, and he's up in his 90s. He was a good guy. He actually visited Clinton.
Really?
Yes, he did. It was a big thing at the time. 2018, Brent, in case you try to forget these things like I do, Brett Kavanaugh is confirmed as sworn as the United States Supreme Court and protest. Every single person that's ever nominated for the Supreme Court now is going to be somebody is going to they're going to be protesting no matter who they are or what their positions are.
Nobody's going to be happy about anything. That's the one thing you can rely on.
But here's one thing that's a happy note. 2021, Carnegie Hall opened in New York City, reopened after 18 months of a pandemic, shut down with a concert by the Philadelphia Orchestra. Couldn't think of a better orchestra to turn it all on. Listen to this. It's National Day. This is convoluted here, a little bit oxymoron. It's Inbox Zero Day.
We got to get off here and start checking our email.
I tried today. I don't think I have any ins that weren't outed. National Badger Day, National Coaches Day, Depression Screening Day, Energy Geek Day. I don't know what that one is, but German American Day. This is my favorite. Transfer money to your daughter day.
I'll remind my sister. She can go ask
my dad for money. It's my son's birthday today. I don't know if he'd be happy to hear that I'm transferring money to my daughter day. It's Cerebral Policy Day and National Physician Assistant Day. Physician assistants become more valuable by the second.
Yeah.
Like, have you had your eyes checked? You don't get to see the doctor until, like, later.
Nope.
Like, that used to be my time when I chatted with my eye doctor.
Yeah, you don't do that anymore.
We got like 2 minutes. I said, wait a minute, what happened? We used to chat.
No.
Talk about things.
Yep.
No more.
It's a problem.
They got people.
Yep. And, well, sometimes they have people. Sometimes they don't. That's the problem.
Yeah, right. I guess hardest part is getting people.
Yeah.
But, boy, assistants, like, do a lot. Like, they can do the whole, is it easier? What's that? 5 minutes. Oh, I thought you were my eye doctor. Saying, is it A, can you read A better than B? Then they try to trick you. So I try to trick them. If they think that they're trying to trick me, then I try to trick them and say, B, you sure? All right, Is it A, Clara, or B? And I'm like, A. And it's like, well, you just told me B. All right, let's try it, right?
That's why they don't see you anymore.
The police station progress. You check us out. We're moving along. I think people are impressed. Inside, I'm going to take a tour probably next week. I think I have some time next. I'm going to carve some time to take a walk through. Maybe get some video. And want to head right to it because Saturday is going to be a busy day, October 8th. You know why? Because it's the big Harvest Fest. This is your farm if you live here, work here, pay taxes here, drove through here, whatever. Left a dime here. This is your farm. Support it. 10 to 4 o'clock. Face painting, DJ Richard, a food truck. I mean, everything. Ice cream, anything you could ever want from your farm. This Saturday, it's going to be a beautiful day. So we're going to have today and tomorrow are going to be like 70s, and then it's going to kick into some real hiking weather.
Perfect.
Where it's going to be like 60 during the day and 30s and maybe low 40s at night. All the way through as far as I could see. So, and don't forget the Cannoli Fest, 5 to 9 o'clock on Monday. You can't miss this. Just put an extra jacket on. There you go. Those are the people participating with the Cannoli Fest. This is Monday. Just so happens to be Christopher Columbus Day. And you celebrate the day any way you want. I don't want us to get in arguments about Christopher Columbus and what he did and didn't do. And he's just, you know.
Just have a good time with
just
friends
have a good
and family.
Time. Any day you want me to help celebrate, I will. And this particular day, it's Columbus Day. It just so happens to be, and it's the Cannoli. They just so happen to fall on the same day. It could be anything you want it to be. It could be Bradley Day if you want it to be. Leaf and yard waste, yes, we pick it up, we recycle it, we biodegradable, break it down, yes. Pictures of the week, here we go. Oh, don't forget, it's the annual Michael's Walk coming up on the 8th. We'll be taking off at 10 o'clock up at the Eagles. All the money goes to mental health awareness. There you go. There's a picture of the police station. Progress at the skate park. Boy, these guys are methodical, man.
Yeah.
There's only 2 guys working. They did all that work there.
Wow.
They're cruising. And paving on Judy Drive, Dale Ave, and Lincoln Street. Badly needed. Look at the cracks in the road, but they're doing a great job. And we had a NAMBY candlelight vigil highlighting mental illness awareness month. That was Sunday night, celebrating a new improved visitor center. Pretty cool. We had a lot of people down there the other day, did the ribbon cutting, have done a great job. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce and the Johnny Appleseed Visitor Center. And thanks for coming to the tractor parade. We had look at all the kids.
That's
you wouldn't
amazing.
think they'd come out in lousy weather, but
that's amazing.
Yes, they did.
I mean, you put tractors out there, of course they're going to be there.
Kids were so excited. Look at it, just throw a coat on. You
yeah.
just put a coat and a hat on. And there's my favorite right there. That's the kid that let it all off for it. I love it. Raining, he had less. He was so excited to be there. Had his little John Deere, and off we went. And a huge turnout in honor of Matt Tidman over at the Eagles. Just incredible. This was a corrections officer was assaulted at work. And boy, what a turnout.
That's
incredible amount of people that were there. And beautiful sunrise over downtown, and sunset, I should say. And there we are. Fall begins in Leominster, and you're going to feel it next week.
It's here.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for
having
me.
I really appreciate it.
This was fun.
And good luck to you. And don't forget, hey, anybody that gets us a good guest, right here at Canberra 2, anybody that gets us a good guest on this show gets a Inside Leominster show, and also it says on the top 3 a.m. club and 9 o'clock briefing. So you got us a good guest.
Oh, perfect.
That's not just any old cup, you know.
This is for when I introduce you to my wife, right?
That's right. So this isn't just any old cup. You can't, like, buy these things.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes it special.
Thanks for watching Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the city, and good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. Yes, you need to show up. Take care.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
This is LTV.